Okay. So, you just solved this one. Okay, now let's do this one. Using the same slope-intercept formula, y equals mx plus b. Okay, I'm going to look at the equation they gave me. Y equals, m is going to be 3, so 3 over 1. X, instead of plus, it's a minus 5. So my b is going to be minus 5. Okay, so that's going to be 0, 5. So I start at 0, 5. I start here. And I say, okay, I don't need to go over. I don't need to move for the x, but I need to go down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is my starting point. My slope tells me I need to go up 3. 1, 2, 3, over 1. Up 3, 1, 2, 3, over 1. Up 3, 1, 2, 3, over 1. And I connect those lines. Make sure when you draw your lines, you put these arrows on the end. That tells me my line is still continuing on. Right? Let's see. So we've done that. 17. So for 17, it asks us to state the x and y intercepts of each linear equation. In your notes, you should have that to find the x-intercept, plug 0 in for the y and solve for x. Okay? You should have to find the y-intercept, plug 0 in for the x and solve for y. Also, I will put on my paper, you should have 2 separate problems for each question. So, for this one, I should have 2 problems. One to find the x-intercept, one to find the y-intercept. You will have one answer that looks like 0y, so that y is going to be a number, and another that is x0. Now, x is going to be a number. Okay? So, it asks me to state the x and y intercept. I'm going to start off. That's what I'm going to start off with. If I plug in, I'm going to look for my y first. So I'm going to make our x 0. So 5 times 0 minus 3y equals 30. Okay, if you forget, I can just know I got to use these points, 0 and y. I know that anything times 0 is nothing, so that's going to bring me to this 3 minus 3y equals 30. I'll divide both sides by negative 3. This cancels, leaves me with y. This equals negative 10, so y equals negative 10. And then I rewrite it as a coordinate point. I'm not done. This is just my y-intercept. Now I got to find x. 5x minus 3 times 0 equals 30. I know anything times 0 is 0, so that brings me 5x equals 30. I'm trying to get x by itself, so I'm going to divide both sides by 5. 30 divided by 5 is 6, so x equals 6. I write it as a coordinate point. Okay, I did the same thing here. As you see, I did it twice. Here gave me my y-intercept. Here gave me my x. I do not, I repeat, I do not put these numbers together to get a point. They're their own separate points. 2 separate points. Okay? Next, it tells me to write an equation. Write an equation in point-slope form and slope-intercept form. So that tells me again, I got two things to do. I should have two answers circled for each problem. Over here, I blocked this off to put down all the information I need. I wrote point slope form. Y minus y1 equals m times the quantity of x minus x1. That is point slope form. Y equals mx plus b. That's slope-intercept form. Other things you may have to use, you may have to find out what slope is if you don't know it, and you know the slope formula equals m, which equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Also, it's important to remember that b is equal to the y-intercept. So it will be 0, comma, y. They had me write it this y. You can also write it as b. 0, comma, whatever b is. Alright? Over here, I labeled. The first thing you must do is label. Please. Labeling will save your life on a test. Label. X1, Y1. M is the same as slope. I'm starting with this one. And all I'm doing is plugging in information. You gotta trust yourself. I'm just plugging it in. I should go Y minus. How about I go the other way? Y minus Y1. Y1 is 11. So I write 11. Equals M. M is slope. It equals negative 4. Times the quantity of X minus X1. X1 is 3. That's point slope form. So I did one piece of mine. Remember, I need two answers. So I did one piece. Now I got to do some work to get to the other one. All right? So right here, I'm trying to get here. I'm sorry, brain fart. I'm trying to get here. So if I look at my problem that I have here, I know that's not equal to this. First thing I have to do is distribute. You remember that was something I told you need to know how to do. You need to know how to distribute. Negative 4 times x is 4x. Negative 4 times a negative 3 is a positive 12. Okay? Y minus 11 equals negative 4x plus 12 still does not look like this. I need it to be y equals, this 11 is in the way. So I need to get it on the other side. The opposite of negative 11 is positive 11. What I do to one side, I have to do to the other. Yes. So what's left over here is y equals m x plus, and my b is 23. So this should be a number, and this should be a number. You can write that in your notes. These two should be numbers. These two should stay the same. If I look at number 20, they gave me points. I'm going to label. Sorry, it looks a little crazy. I was doing this with a group of my students, and I had these as ones and these as twos, and they had the other way around, so I had to switch mine because I wanted them to do it. Okay? So it doesn't matter what you use as your 1 or 2, just be consistent. So I don't know what slope is, and I know I need slope in order to do these. So I can find slope with these 2 points. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. y2, negative 4, minus y1, 14, over x2, 0, minus x1, 3, Minus 4 minus 18 is a minus, minus 4 minus 14 is a minus 18. Over 0 minus 3 is negative 3. I can reduce this. Negative 18 divided by negative 3 gives me a positive 6. So my M is 6 over 1. Now, I got lucky with this problem because we talked about B equaling y-intercept, and it was going to be 0, comma B. So, if I look at number 20, I have something that says 0, comma, and a number. That number, guess what's going to equal? B. I'm going to put a little B up there. Why not? So now, I know that B equals 4. And I don't have to go through some of the work I went through. So, first thing I had to do was rewrite my problem. Y minus y1 in this problem was 14 equals M is 6 over 1, or I could just put it as 6 times the quantity, so I need a parenthesis, of x minus x1 is 3. That's point slope form. Slope intercept, y equals M is 6, x plus B. Oh, I actually know what B is. B is negative 4. I didn't even have to do any work, just plugged in. This bottom one. We label x2, y2, x1, y1. M is, I don't know, but I can figure it out. M equals y2, which is negative 1, minus y1, which is 0, so that gave me negative 1, over x2, which is 1, minus 2, that gives me negative 1. Negative 1 over negative 1 is 1. So, M equals 1. Point slope form, someone was really smart and they labeled this as my 2, so I really don't have a lot of work to do because they used this one right here that already had the 0 in it. So y minus 0, because this is supposed to be y1, so 0 equals M is 1, so 1 times the quantity of x minus, what's x1? Is 2. That's my point slope form. Y minus 0 is y. 1 times x is x. 1 times negative 2 is 2. So y equals x minus 2. That's my slope intercept form. That was it. So I would look, if you see a 0 in one of the points, I would keep that in mind to use that. That's a little less work you have to do. Okay? That is the test review. If you have any questions about it, you can put a comment in the video slot and then I'll reply. Have a good night and good luck on your test tomorrow.